Hey everyone,
Hi everyone,
I'm Scott,
and I'm Amber.
and together with our dog Charlie, we are What the Venture.
So we want to say hello to all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining our ventures. We hope that you like this video. Today we're going to tell you about our van life story and how we bought our vintage VW camper van.
Today we are going to give you some advice on how to buy your camper van with a low budget. But first, we're going to tell you about how we got our passion for travel.
So the way that I got my travel passion. Oh, hi, Katie.
Oh, hey there, Kitty.
Hi.
Where'd you come from?
So how I got my travel passion is I always just really wanted to travel. My family didn't do much traveling, so I guess that could be the reason. But I didn't know that van life existed, so I started looking at ways to travel while making money. So I looked up like being a flight attendant. That was a good runner-up. I looked up how to be an au pair. So that's being a nanny in different countries. Like you could do it in Italy, Australia, wherever. Oh, house sitting. I also looked up house sitting. So keep in mind this was before I knew van life existed, or else I would have been researching that constantly. But yeah, that's how I started getting into travel and thinking about how to work and travel at the same time.
So, I got my travel passion it all started when I was in grade school. It was in grade 7 and 8. I did 2 trips to Quebec with a student exchange program where we went to go live with another family for 2 weeks. I got to experience all the culture there. I got to learn French firsthand, which was awesome, learning a different language. And then in high school, I also took a trip to Guatemala for 2 weeks where we went and stayed with a small village. And we got to experience the culture there. We got to eat all their food, did the things they did, and we got a tour of Mayan ruins, and that was what really kind of sparked the travel bug for me.
So how did we find van life, you might be wondering? Well, like everybody else, we found it on YouTube. I was in school watching a lot of YouTube during my school projects, and I stumbled across Eamon and Beck, and their videos and their storytelling really got me into van life and thinking about the possibilities for mine and Scott's future.
So while Amber was in school, I was working full-time to help support us because we were living together in a little basement apartment.
Yeah.
And I would come home every night and there would be videos on the screen about van life, and I started getting curious. And then we asked each other the question, like, is this something that's possible? And we sat down, we thought about it, and we thought, why not? Why can't it be possible?
Yeah.
All we have to do is put in the work, and these people are doing it. There's thousands of channels on YouTube that are doing it. Why not us?
Yeah. So first question when you're starting van life is, what kind of bus am I going to drive, obviously? So I really like VWs. I've always loved them, and especially the vintage VW bus. Like, seeing them everywhere, like, I love them, and my family always gifts me VW things because they know I love them so much. So I was like, that's a no-brainer. I want a vintage VW. And we saw Combi Life on YouTube with the high top, and they're able to stand in it, and it just seems a lot more like comfortable living. So I was like, high top VW, perfect. That's what I want in a van.
So now that we had our van picked out, then became the challenge of actually finding it. So I told Amber, just keep your eyes open. One will pop up. There'll be something somewhere that we can find. There's no rush. It wasn't like we were starting it the next day. It wasn't like we were starting it the next week. So after about a few months of doing that, looking on ads on Kijiji, looking on eBay, looking in local papers, just driving around trying to find ones for sale, we ended up finding this beauty.
So the search began. I was looking on Kijiji, everywhere, like Scott said, driving around, looking places. Anyway, one day Scott comes home from work and I'm like, I did a thing. And he's like, oh God, that can't be good. So I showed him, I found a high top VW bus in all right condition. Like, there's rust, obviously. And he's like, okay, awesome. Where? I was like, no, that's the hard part. Kelowna B.C. So we're in Ontario. Kelowna B.C. is a decent plane ride away. So it was far, but it was the perfect bus.
So Amber showed me some pictures. It just needed a few body panels. It was in running condition. It looked really good. It was the high top we wanted. And the first thing we had to do was then budget for the price, which was $3,000.
Yeah. So, as you know, I was in school, so we're broke, right? So the first thing we had to do was save $3,000. And because I was in school full time, my program was really demanding. It was harder for me to get a job. So I did pick up like odd jobs, and I was also making crafts and selling them. I was making these really cute wooden maps and pretty much anything I could do in order to save for this bus.
I also picked up some odd jobs. I was working at a flower shop delivering flowers of all things. We also did food delivery services whenever we had the time.
Yeah.
Just anything to make a bit of coin to reach our goal.
So we saved the $3,000, but we still needed to get there. So we needed plane tickets, and the plane tickets were $250 each. So we needed $500 to get plane tickets. Also, the guy that we were buying it off of said he could keep it for 3 months for us. So we're like, yes, we will be there in 3 months. Please hold it for us. And so we used our $3,000 to first purchase plane tickets. So we booked our plane tickets 3 months in advance, and we're like, we're going to be there with the money, and we're going to somehow pick up this bus.
So before we bought the plane tickets, we looked into how to even get the bus back. We looked into putting it on a train to see if that would make it all the way here, but it was too tall. We looked into shipping containers to see if it would fit on the back of a truck. It was still too tall, and nobody would do it. It would have to be a special independent company, which was going to cost way too much money. So we ended up going with buying one-way tickets and flying out there to tow it back. So we went with U-Haul, a full-size U-Haul van, and we also got a car trailer to go on the back. So we were literally towing this thing behind us with an empty moving van. It was pretty funny. The total cost of the U-Haul came to $3,240 for the 10 days of driving to get back home.
So a budget breakdown so far, a low budget breakdown so far would be first, the bus, $3,000. Second thing that we had to buy was plane tickets, which was a total of $500. Third thing we had to buy was the U-Haul truck and trailer to tow the bus from Kelowna, British Columbia to Ontario for 10 days, which was $3,240. And then we had to account for travel expenses and gas. So we added another $2,000 on for that. But if you do the same trip, a 10-day trip from Kelowna or BC area to Ontario area, I suggest probably bringing more money for gas. It's expensive.
So let's tell you a little more about the trip.
Yeah.
We flew out to Kelowna. We got picked up by the guy who was selling us the bus at the airport. He was very nice to do that. And then he drove us to the U-Haul place. And we picked up our truck, we picked up the trailer, and all that went very smooth. I was a little worried about it.
Yeah, me too. Because we're flying to another province and picking up a U-Haul. That everything was booked over the phone and everything, so it was a little worrisome. Just a little bit.
Yeah, they did have to give us a different trailer because they didn't have the one we actually booked. But they gave us a bigger one of no charge, which we were like, we don't want a bigger one because we're not bringing anything. We're not actually moving, but...
Yeah, not trailer, U-Haul.
No, the actual
moving van.
Yeah.
They gave us a bigger moving van, and we literally just had 2 suitcases in the back of this van. Like, it looked funny.
And then from there, we followed him to his house, and we saw Wilbur for the first time. We stayed there. We saw him run.
Chatted with the guy for a bit, and then he actually drove Wilbur up onto the trailer, and then that's where we started our adventures. So first things first is when we started our trip, we're like, we really need to go pick up supplies because we flew there. We were only allowed to bring a limited amount of things. So we brought like some utensils, like a pot to cook out of, but we didn't have anything to cook on. We didn't have anything to sit on our trip. But we did manage to bring blankets and everything. So we had to go to the local Canadian Tire and pick up folding chairs. We got a charcoal barbecue. We picked up all the essentials there. So then we started our 10-day van life trip.
So we really wanted to enjoy the mountains a little bit before driving home. So we explored around Kelowna to find a campsite. We just used iOverlander and just started driving. We ended up finding a real nice spot to stop. It was right in the Okanagan Valley. It was just like a little turn off the main road, and it was a perfect spot for us to stop for our first night.
So we wanted to treat this like a vacation, and we totally did. We did some sightseeing along the way. We stopped at Emerald Lake. It was beautiful there. We got to see Lake Louise, and we did a really long hike there, and it was awesome. And then we started making our way to Scott's cousin, who lives in Edmonton, to go see him and visit. And it was just a really good time, really good road trip before we headed into the prairies, which were really flat, boring. Like, everybody knows that that's what the prairies are. So, but we still had a great time there because we got to stay at the Saskatchewan River. We got to enjoy just the great outdoors. I got my first tick. It was great.
Or
yeah,
not.
it was a really good vacation.
So Amber forgot to mention that we also stayed in Winnipeg at one of the truck stops there. It was a perfect little spot. They had a washroom there. It was nice and quiet, and we didn't disturb anybody. It was basically like a truck stop for truckers.
Yep. There was lots of truckers there, actually. So yes, it was a truck stop.
Yes.
So after driving through the prairies, we were running out of time to get home with the U-Haul. As you know, we had 10 days, and that's what we paid for. So we took a little longer in the mountains than we probably should have. Wouldn't change a thing. But anyway, we were running out of time. So instead of driving around Lake Huron, we took a ferry from Manitoulin Island to Tobermory. So this cut down our time a lot because the ferry ride was only about 2.5 hours, and it brought us all the way to Tobermory, where then we could then drive to southern Ontario in order to drop off the U-Haul.
So it was really cool taking the ferry and driving up on it. We caught the last one of the day.
Yeah, we were really lucky. We were like sweating driving through Manitoulin Island, like, come on, we can make it, because we didn't book ahead. We were just hoping to get on.
We just called, and they're like, yeah, there's spots. There was only like 6 people on the boat.
Yeah.
And it was Amber's first time on a ferry, so that was pretty cool.
So we were standing by the bus, and when I first saw it coming up, it was like huge, and it has a lot of cool art on it and stuff, like native pieces. I was just really excited to get on this ferry, and also to get home because it was a long trip, and we didn't obviously have a van build, so we didn't have showers or anything, so it was kind of difficult. And at that point, I think we both wanted to get home and shower.
Oh yeah, it was about that time. I was ripe. After the ferry, we drove through the night. It was in total about a 19-hour day that we spent driving just to try and make it home on time.
Yeah, because if we were late with the U-Haul, it would have cost us more. And at this point, we didn't have any more money to give.
So we had to drive. That was our only option.
Yeah. Yeah, so we ended up driving for 19 hours through the night. It was a bit surreal being back with the bus, too. Like, so happy to have it here finally. And it was a huge accomplishment for us, too. Like, we went from having $0 in our savings account to bringing home a bus that we're going to make into our dream home eventually, like our dream tiny home. So it was, like, pretty surreal, and it was like, wow, we actually did it, and the bus is here, and our dreams are slowly coming true. And now we're working on the bus in the driveway, and I can't believe it. Like, trip of a lifetime, wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, we finally got home, and we were able to see Charlie and introduce you guys to Charlie in our last season. He was so excited to see us, and we were so excited to see him. Felt so good to be home. But yeah, so overall, the trip cost us this much. That much. Yeah. We didn't do the math yet, so we will, but that's how much it costs us. So our advice to you, if you have a low budget, we highly suggest you do not go for a vintage VW because there's rust. Like, it's an old vehicle. There's rust. You're going to have to fix it up. But we knew that going into it. We knew The guy selling it, he already had some panels for us. Sorry, I can hold that. Oh.
There you go. Yeah.
So the guy selling it already had some panels for us. So we already had that. We just had to buy a couple more and learn how to weld.
You make it sound so easy.
I know. It sounds easy, but it's not. But yeah, so our low budget advice to you is don't buy a vintage VW if you can't afford it. And also maybe stay within your province or state if you're going to buy a vehicle. Honestly, we wouldn't change it for the world though, because it was a trip of a lifetime, and we have that memory of getting the bus together and bringing it home and camping the whole way. And it was just really special, but also it was pretty costly because the price of the bus, the price of the plane tickets, the price of gas, and also what we did do good though is we slept in the bus the whole way back. So we didn't have to get hotels. We didn't have to get campsites. We did get the Banff campsite because we really wanted to stay there and experience
we
that.
had to.
Yeah, so we did that, and it was a really good vacation for us. Like, I was going to school, Scott was working full time, and we really needed a break from that life of just go, go, go all the time. So it was nice to spend that money on ourselves and get the bus of our dreams.
So with this trip, we got a taste of van life and a vacation we'll never forget. Now, keep in mind that this budget was for 2 people.
Yes.
So we pooled our money together. We worked real hard to meet our budget.
Mm-hmm.
And, determination is key. If you want something bad enough, you will find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want it bad enough, you'll find an excuse for it.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so no more excuses. Get what you want. Work hard for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Why not? Make the life that you want to live. Ventures belong to the adventurous, as we always say.
So when you're looking for a vehicle, make sure you pick one that suits you. Pick one that fits your personality. We bought the bus because we think it suits us perfectly.
Yeah.
You don't need to break the bank in order to get a vehicle.
No.
There's plenty of vans out there. There's plenty of like used Sprinters, or even like the cargo vans, the GMCs. There's ProMasters. I've seen people in like Transits and Dodge Caravans.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that you can go about it, and just make sure that you build it out to suit you.
Yeah. So even if your budget is small, you have a low budget, still strive for what you want. You don't have to break the bank like Scott was saying. Like, you can get these buses with no rust on them, just not here in Canada. Yeah, so buy the bus that best suits you. If you have a low budget, try to make it work. You never know until you try, right?
This is where we're going to end it off for today. This has been our budget for our van buy. We wanted to break down all the numbers for you about our trip, what it costs to get the tickets, to buy the bus, and to drive it back, including expenses and gas.
On a low budget, and give you some advice so that you can like do a trip like we did, or try to make a lower budget trip. As always, thanks for watching. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed recently. We really love to see you guys liking the videos and commenting. We love to see the interaction, and we like to comment back and see what's up. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hit that bell to receive notifications when we post videos every Wednesday and Sunday.
Remember, adventures belong to the adventurous.
Bye!
If you liked our video and would like to support us, go to whattheventure.ca. Here you will find our custom van life inspired designs available for purchase.